Hello underachievers, I have my feet on my tripod. I don't know why I'm doing that. So I know I look a bit like a greasy mess, and that's because I am a bit. I got some fat bite here. I thought it was a spot. Turns out it was a bite. Mosquito bite, spider bite, I don't know, but it's there and it's very big. I'm sorry I've been off schedule a lot recently. I've been so busy, it's actually ridiculous. I've been recording stuff and filming videos and filming other things that I'm probably not allowed to talk about, and I also have other things that I'm probably not allowed to talk about. And I've been doing stuff which takes up time, which usually I have a lot of. Well, I used to think I had a lot of it, but then YouTube got bigger. So I apologise for my appearance and my lack of regular scheduling. I don't like to post too many trans videos, and I don't post too many trans videos, but I thought today it was time for another trans video. So today I thought I'd film about how I started testosterone. I'm in the UK, I'm in England, I am 19, I started testosterone last year when I was 18. I started on May the 3rd or 7th, 2018. I started on injections, I started on shots, I started on sustanon, and I started on 125 milligrams, which is half dose. And then I then increased it to 3/4 dose, I guess, and then went to full dose, and then full dose was too much, so now I'm back to 3/4 dose. That's not really important. I'll get on to how I started testosterone. So in the UK, if you want to start medically transitioning, starting testosterone or getting top surgery or bottom surgery or any other related surgery, you can go via two pathways. So the first one is the one that people usually go for. It's the path that most people take. And lucky for us in England, we have the NHS, which is pretty much free healthcare. It's not free healthcare because the taxpayers pay for it, but you don't have to pay for healthcare, pretty much. How this happens with gender stuff, there's a few gender identity clinics spotted around England and Wales and other places that no one really cares about. To be fair, no one really cares about Wales. But yeah, there's gender identity clinics where they have specialists who diagnose you with gender dysphoria, and then they put you on medication which helps you feel good about yourself. Yeah, they just help you transition, yeah. So, the NHS, the gender clinics, this is the public sector. Pretty much to get testosterone on the public sector, you go to your GP, you get referred to the clinic, and then you get assessed a few times at the clinic, and then they start you on your journey of medically transitioning. The second pathway, the other way to do it, is by doing it privately, and there are a few private places around England. I'm saying it like this because I don't know how many there are. I think there's 3. There was 3, now there's 2 because one of them was dodgy and both the people that worked there kind of got told not to do it anymore. So if you want to go private, you'll look up private gender clinics in the UK, you'll click on their website, you'll click on their email address, send them an email and be like, hey, I'm trans, I want an appointment, get me testosterone. And they will assess you and maybe let you transition. The major differences between public and private sectors is that in the public sector, you don't have to pay anything to get treatment. The private sector, you do have to get treatment. You do have to pay to get treatment. And the public sector has such long waiting lists. Like, the waiting lists are a lot longer in the public sector than the private sector because obviously some people can't afford to pay for private. If you're lucky enough to be able to afford private healthcare for gender stuff, I would recommend it because it's a lot quicker. It's worth it. So, you're wondering how I started testosterone. That is what this video is about. So, pretty much came out when I was like 16 to my mum, and I was like, Mum, I want to go to a gender clinic. I want to start testosterone. I don't want to have titties anymore, and also, I don't want to sound like a girl anymore. And she was like, alright, let's sort it out. So we went to my GP. My GP was like, alright, don't know anything about this trans thing, I'll give a little look. And pretty much my GP made me fill out this form talking about like myself, my mental health, and my mental health in relation to my gender, and instances where I felt gender dysphoria and how I felt it and how bad it is and when I started feeling it and all that rubbish. So I filled out that form, and then she was like, right, we're gonna refer you to a gender clinic. But because I was 16, they had to refer me to a child's gender clinic. Now, me being me and being very, very intelligent, I did the maths, and I figured out that by the time I actually get to the child's gender clinic, I'll be too old for them to treat me. The child gender clinic doesn't treat anybody over the age of 17. By the way, the child gender clinic in England is called Tavistock. Tavi, it's in London. So I politely asked my GP, I was like, the waiting lists are about 2 years. In 2 years, I will be 18. So could you refer me to an adult clinic? And she looked it up and she couldn't do it because I was 16 and you have to be 17 and a half. I think you have to be closer to 18 than you are 17. So yeah, I was stuck on the child gender clinic waiting list, which was annoying. It took about 1 year and 3/4. 1 year and 3/4, what am I on about? It took a while to get to the child's gender clinic. But in preparation for the child's gender clinic, they sent me to some mental health place called CAMS. This stands for Child Adolescent Mental Health Services. So pretty much I went to this place in London and they asked me about my life story and all my trauma and my gender stuff, and it was very horrible and I cried for so long. It took like 2.5 hours. It was very long. It was just some assessment to see where I was mentally and where I was with my gender, and it wasn't fun. I didn't enjoy it. They wrote down what I said, they wrote down their assessment, and supposedly they sent that off to the gender clinic. Fun fact, they didn't do that, or they did, and then the gender clinic lost my papers, so that was a whole waste of 2 hours and lots of trauma. So by the time we got to, you know, nearly 2 years, I got my first appointment at the gender clinic, and that was July 19th, 2017, I think. Yeah, it was July 19th, 2017. Wow, that's a good memory. But I was going to be 18 on the 18th of August, 2017. I was too old. I was almost 18, and they were like, Noah, look, I'm sorry, man. We can't treat you. You're too old. And of course I was annoyed. I was like, bro, I knew this. I knew this when I got referred, so I asked to be referred to the adult clinic. But they're like, there's nothing we can do. And usually when you've been treated by Tavistock, the child clinic, they fast track you to the adult clinic. Like, you skip out some of the waiting time because you've been seen at Tavistock. But because I was a month away from being 18, they couldn't even do an assessment, apparently. Apparently they couldn't assess me. So I did not get fast-tracked onto the adult clinic. I had to wait another 2 years, which means I wouldn't have started testosterone until I was 19. So yeah, they told me they couldn't treat me, and they're like, I mean, you could go private. And I was like, bruh, just give me my tea. So anyway, I was screwed over by the child clinic. They lost my papers. They didn't even treat me. So I was kind of stuck. I was like, well, what am I doing now? So, I was referred to the adult clinic at that appointment, to Charing Cross Clinic, waiting list of about 2 years. And at that point, I was kind of like, you know what, I'm just gonna go private. So I saved up some money, and luckily my dad was like, you know, I'll help you out too. So we both kind of agreed to do private. I went to a trans support group on Facebook, and I was like, I want to go private, help me out. And people linked me to this trans clinic, private clinic, the London Transgender Clinic. I went through them. So I gave them a bit of an email in August 2017. I had just turned 18, which is lucky because the private clinic I went to only treats people over the age of 18. They replied pretty speedily, and they were like, yeah, okay, we can get you an appointment in December. So, August, September, October, November, December. 4 months wait list, which is what it was back then. I'm sure it's gone up by now. The appointment, I believe, was £250, and yeah, I'll tell you about that appointment. So it came to December, and I was like, yeah. Got to my appointment, had a bit of a chat, talked about my life, talked about gender dysphoria, talked about how I felt about myself and my mental health and all that rubbish. She was like, yeah, dysphoria, there you go. But she brought up this one thing. She was like, do you want to get your eggs frozen so that you can have biological kids in the future without worrying about your fertility? And I was like, heck, I do, but I didn't want that, because then that would delay my chance of being on testosterone. So anyway, after that appointment in December, I went into Pret-a-Manger, and I cried because I was like, I need to freeze my eggs. I've made a whole separate video about my egg freezing. I'll link it here or whatever one. Pretty much, I froze my eggs before I started testosterone because although there's not a lot of studies on trans guys on testosterone and fertility, when you're on testosterone, usually it's harder for you to get pregnant, and I will never get pregnant. Do not worry, there'll never be a baby inside of me. But if I want to get a surrogate in the future, it's probably better to have my eggs from before I started testosterone than from after, because I don't know, testosterone could damage your fertility. So I went and got my eggs frozen. That took a few months to organise. I couldn't get that on the NHS because it's pretty much a postcode lottery, and they were like, no, we don't cover it in your area. So I had to pay about $5 grand, $6 grand when I was 17, 18. I was 18. I had to pay that much money when I was 18. That was pretty much all my money, and then, you know, that sucks. Spending all your money on healthcare, but whatever. So yeah, I went and got my eggs frozen in March 2018, and then I booked my second private appointment for May 2018. And that was when I started testosterone. So pretty much rolled up to the gender clinic, May 2018, May 7th, May 3rd, who remembers? You should remember. Let me know down below my tea date. So yeah, I got to my appointment, and I met up with the medical team, because that's what your second appointment at a private clinic is. First appointment is an assessment, just learning about the patient. The second one is the medical one, where they take you, like, heart. They test your blood pressure, they check your heart. They have a bit of a feel of your tits, just to make sure you don't have any abnormalities, because I'm sure testosterone wouldn't take well with any of that. Then they check your blood results, which I didn't say this before, but before you go to that appointment, you have to get your blood taken to check your testosterone levels and your estrogen levels and your liver function and all that stuff. So they do all these medical things, they weigh you, they put you on a machine that figures out how much body fat you have and how much muscle you have. I'm pretty sure that's only for the comparison when you go back for your 6-month appointment, but yeah, they do all the medical stuff. And then it gets to a point where Mary, which is lovely. She's the woman I went with, she's great. She asked me if I wanted to have injections or if I wanted to have gel. And if you don't know, both testosterone in shot form and in gel form, they're both great, they both do their job. But it's recommended that if you have poor mental health that you go on gel, because with gel you apply it every day on your shoulders, I think. You apply it every day so your levels will be very stable. With the shot type, you inject yourself and then a week later your testosterone levels will be like up here, and then it slowly goes down until your 3 weeks or your 4 weeks is up, and then you have to do it again. So if your testosterone levels are here and down and then here and down, you know, you're a bit hormonal, mood swings are very common. Now, it was recommended that I probably start on gel, but I was like, oh, I'm fine, honestly, I'm fine, I'm all good. Everything's good. So I was like, yeah, I really wanted shots, so I asked for shots. She was like, yeah, I'll give you a shot. So then, she gave me a shot in my leg. Actually, I gave myself a shot. She kind of helped me give myself a shot. And yeah, that's how I started testosterone. But there was a bit of a complication. So usually when you're prescribed the medication outside of your GP does this thing called shared care, which is where the gender clinic will advise your GP on what kind of testosterone to give the patient, how to monitor it with blood tests, what dose they need, and the GP will be like, yeah, that's cool, you know what you're doing over there. You do a good job, you're good guys. I will help you and the patient out. My GP decided against this. They said it went against their protocol, which is not true. Literally, read up on the NHS website, you're supposed to do shared care. There's no reason not to. So yeah, my GP refused to do shared care a lot of the time, and this caused me a lot of tears and a lot of anxiety, because the appointment where I got testosterone, I had that shot, and then Mary gave me another box of testosterone for my next shot, just in case my GP don't do shared care on time. But because my GP didn't do shared care, I had to email the private clinic and pay for prescriptions, like £50 per prescription, which isn't fun. And it went on and on, where the people at the clinic were just like, just get your GP to do shared care or move GP. And I was like, I can't move GP, all the other GPs around my area also don't agree to do shared care. And my GP will not do shared care, I can't do anything. And the clinic sent a very strongly worded letter to my GP, and they were like, you know, Noah has been diagnosed depressed from age 12, do you think this is going to help? I don't think it helped at all. It made me feel terrible. But my GP didn't budge until this year. I don't remember when this year, but we had called them up so many times, sent so many emails, sent so many letters that they kind of just gave up, and they were like, it goes against our protocol, which it doesn't, but we'll do you shared care, and now I'm doing shared care. So they give me testosterone at the GP instead of having to call up the clinic and buy a prescription off them. So everything with my testosterone is good right now. I'm good. I have to get my levels checked regularly, but we're good. So yeah, that's how I got my testosterone. If you got any questions, ask below. I'll try and help you out. I'm going to be very busy this weekend. I don't even know when this video is going up, but hope you have a good day. If you don't, I'm sorry. You'll maybe tomorrow, or next week, or next month, or next year, you know, it's gonna, good things happen. So yeah, that's the video. Have a good day, I don't. See you later, losers. I'm very tired. And my hair is so greasy, and this bloody bite. Look at this thing, it's disgusting.